Good evening, everyone. This evening, I really wanted to cover the George Floyd Justice Policing Act. And what made this video come about is no other than Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris goes to the funeral of Tyree Nichols. And during this time, she thought it would be smart to try to push a political agenda. And I don't know if she asked the parents of Tyree Nichols or not. I just know that there's a time and place for everything, and Kamala Harris continues to disrespect the Black community each and every day. Now, family, when we think about the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act that was passed last year, to a certain degree, it's a comprehensive policy, a reform bill that they created in order to pacify Black America. Like, okay, let's go over some of the things in this particular act. So banning chokeholds, getting rid of no-knock warrants. The bill also prohibits chokeholds, warrants in some degree. Like, let me just get my thoughts together here, but nonetheless, that's what it does. It also limits qualified immunity, okay? Because we have to understand, first and foremost, qualified immunity is like a doctrine that shields police officers from being held personally liable for some of their actions, for their actions. It doesn't hold them liable. That's why qualified immunity or immunity of law is so important to get removed. And they're stating that the George Floyd Justice for Policing Act limits the immunity, like making it easier for victims of police brutality to hold their officers accountable, right? From the top to the bottom, the chief to the private. Now, within this bill, they also have a way to refund the police, family. Yeah. Through the George Floyd Policing Act, they use that as a tactic to go against what the Democrats were essentially promoting, but not saying, right? They let people within the Democratic Party speak about defund the police, but none of the politicians on the Democratic side of the House actually said, yeah, we should defund the police or reduce the amount of money. No, if anything, they increased the police. They refunded the police more money than they ever had before by the way of the George Floyd Justice for Policing Act. Yep. Because in that bill, in that act rather, it says that the bill requires the creation of a national police training and standards program. And one of the most controversial things that's going on right now in Georgia, they made a cop city, and the people of those surrounding communities are protesting damn near every day to stop it. How's that being funded? Federally funded. Because we have to understand the so-called like improved police training. They will probably have a focus on de-escalation, racial and cultural diversity, and the amount of force they will use. They already have these classes, family. They already have this sort of policing, but this is in the George Floyd Policing Act. It'd be, things are listed in there as enhancing police accountability. The bill requires police to wear a body cam by all on-duty officers, and also establish a so-called National Police Oversight Commission, and they making that up to essentially investigate, prosecute cases of police misconduct. Some people would argue, well, it's not a perfect bill. It can't be perfect, Ross. They couldn't put everything in there. Yes, they could have. Number one bullet should have been qualified immunity has been dissolved for every law enforcement agency under the sun within this country. Number one. But instead of saying wiping away qualified immunity, they go in, oh, we're going to prohibit the use of chokeholds, no knock warrants. We're going to get rid of that. And that's to pacify you, right? If you know that the baby's already fed, what do? So the baby won't cry. Maybe the baby is teething. You give them a pacifier, right? Because it shuts them up temporarily. Especially if it's a baby hungry and you're not ready to feed it, or you may not have the food right then and there. What do you give it? A pacifier, because it's temporary relief for you. So that's why they pacify us, because it's a temporary relief for them. That's the problem. It has all this bull crap in it about strengthening community police relations. But all of this is hogwash. That's the problem, family. These things are very important to us, or they should, because it may one day affect you. So the second question would be, does, kind of reinstating it here, does the George Floyd Policing Act wipe away qualified immunity for police? And we know qualified immunity, again, shields police officers from being held personally liable for their actions. So basically, they can go out of here with a bulletproof vest on, utility belt with pepper spray and a taser and a firearm, and they can wreak havoc on the public. Family, are you listening? Qualified immunity is the only thing between a police officer getting fired or suspended or demoted to him going to prison for the rest of his life. Think about this. If you were to shoot somebody on your job, whatever job you may have, imagine shooting someone on the job and they did not have a weapon. Would you be going to jail for the rest of your life for murder? Absolutely. So that's the fine line between qualified immunity. This thing, the rare police officer, the very few of them that have actually been brought up on charges and actually serve prison time, it's a drop in the bucket, family. It's like 1 out of a million. It's like the same percentage of you getting bit by a killer whale. It's not a thing that occurs normally, but it does for people of this melanin. So here's the thing. Why not, number one, be wipe away qualified immunity? Because we understand that under the provisions of the bill, police can still be shielded from liability in some circumstances when we're talking about the George Floyd Policing Act. Now, the bill does make it easier, supposedly, for victims to sue for damages and hold them accountable for their actions. What normally happens, family? You lost a loved one. You lost a child, a husband, a wife, an aunt, an uncle, a cousin, a niece, a nephew, etc. You lost that human being, and they say, you know what? We're going to just pay you for damages. You cannot repair a life. You cannot fix a life. You're trying to replace her with money. You can't. It's irreplaceable. And I know some people are, well, they're not going to give you money. What are they going to do? No. They should give you money. But I'm just saying, seeing how heinous the George Floyd Policing Act was written to the common man, he would think that, oh, this is great. This takes care of everything. No, it doesn't. And then you have the political strategists and political debaters and the Coons and Sambos stating, well, everything can't be in that bill. We have been demanding for qualified immunity to be eradicated, to be deleted, erased, wiped away, gone. But have your representatives, your senators, your congressmen, your senators, the president, has anyone listened to the people that voted in the Democratic Party? Absolutely not. That's because your votes go on open ears while your tears and your blood that has been shed goes on deaf ears when it comes to politics, unless they do exactly what you want them to do or you don't vote. Because unfortunately, Black people, if the Democrats say, well, the Republicans are racist against Black people, oh, well, anything that's better than Republicans, anything, they racist. Where the Democrats are just as racist as them mother. They're just as racist. The only difference is these racists don't mind giving us attention. Well, these racists ignore us. Same difference. Same difference. That's the problem. Because the bill does nothing, essentially. It tightens the squeeze, so to speak. It limits. But at the end of the day, it doesn't do what the people want it to do. And this all came about killing a Black man publicly in front of the entire world. But this is nothing new, family. Unfortunately, this is nothing new. But here's the thing. When you guys go out and you pick a political party, you have already sided with a group versus siding with logic, versus siding with policy. When we really think about it, you're voting for a particular political party, but you're not voting for particular policies. Because I'm not going to lie to you, I've said this before. I think that politics should be done differently, where there's no Democrats or Republicans or independents. No. They have group A, B, and C. And within those three groups, they don't show you anybody, right? Because a lot of times we judge people by how tall they are, how fat they are, how skinny they are, how dark they are, how light they are. We judge them by those things, do we not? But what if, and this is a kind of an idea, when there were three political parties and it was A, B, and C, and it always A, B, and C there were three dots. I won't even label them because people get crazy with that, like, oh, always go with C. There are three dots, but they're in separate portals, and the people get to read the policies, right? The bottom line up front, the bottom line up front, and that is what it is, right? Instead of writing all these words that we used to write when we went to college or in high school, trying to write these 5-page, 10-page, 20-page paper, you do all these filler words. No. George Floyd Policing Act wipes away qualified immunity. Boom. Then you can add all that other stuff. And then you'll start seeing a change, because police will not only personally get sued, which be very, very expensive. Like if a doctor does something wrong during surgery, that's why he has insurance. If a nurse does something, depending on what level she is, she might have insurance. So police will have to have insurance. And guess what? As the climate and the behavior is still the same today, and the same acts are being done upon the people, then guess what? They're going to start seeing police officers not only pay their pension and don't have anything for them and their family to live on, but they'll be going to jail. They'll be going to jail for murder. They'll be going to prison for 10 and 15, 20 years. And that's when you start seeing all this behavior with police change. Because the people have been asking for, oh, they need sensitivity training, they need diversity training. Oh, the system of policing is corrupt. They need to tear down and rebuild it. I agree. But what about the police that are on the ground right now? And then with this high publicity of black men being the face of police brutality? Are you serious? Oh, now you want to show black police officers. When black police officers were going inside the hoods and making up basketball games and tournaments and getting people off the street and helping lowering the crime rates in the inner city, majority black cities, they didn't get any shine. They was only on their local news channels. They didn't put them on CNN and Fox. And now Fox is worrying about police training. What? I looked up Fox in the dictionary and I saw a Blue Lives Matter sign. Stop it, Fox. Then you got MSNBC hosting people who are directly talking about African American boys and men who inherently hates the police, but they are corrupting their city. I mean, he was talking a whole food family on MSNBC. Now, don't forget, MSNBC is one of those democratic, liberal, independent news agency. They kind of swing in the middle and swing to the left. That's the problem. We allow these mass media networks influence our minds about our own people and others versus our personal encounters. You know, the one thing that this country does not do, family? This country, when these immigrants come over, right? Whether they fly in, swim in, boat in, or walk in, the only time they see black people, let's go to the TV. The only time they see black people is if we're gay wearing a dress on TV, if we are low impoverished, poor, and hitting and cheating on our women, or we are some thug or gangster or extra in a movie, majority of the time. So when these immigrants and other people from these other countries come over here and they see this depiction of our people, and then they see us, the ones who are mostly homeless on the street, who are in these ran down ghettos, instead of thinking this and the oppressed people who have been done this systematically, they just think that we are just inherently incapable. And then you see this around the world in any melanated country. You know what they don't show them? You know what they don't tell them, family? Hey, we're gonna give you this book. We're gonna make you study this book of Black history, of all the contributions that Black Americans have made in this country since its inception. We're going to show you that they built the very fabric and foundation of this country, and building the White House and the Capitol, the railroads before the Chinese came here. You think they're going to teach people from other countries that? Or they're going to come over here with the sentiment and the ideologies of the dominant society, those ones who allow them in the country? You think they're going to teach them how great we are? You think they're not going to teach us how great we have been? For hundreds of years, we've been making inventions in engineering and medical and agriculture. But does that get displayed to the foreigners that come over here? Does the people from China see that about us? Or Korea or Japan or the Philippines or India? Do they show them that? Do they show people who may look like us but are not us? People from like the Caribbean, like Jamaica and Trinidad, Tobago, Puerto Rico, the Bahamas. You think they do that? You think they teach the Africans the dark melanated Africans, when they come over here and they look at us and they're trying to figure out why these people are like this. They've always been the scum of the earth here in America. Some of them don't even know of the great past that we have and the great future that we're trying to build as well. But they don't understand all the things that came out of slavery, and not just Jim Crow. No one brings up, the towns and cities that were doing prominently well, that were Black, that they put underwater. Nobody talks about the Red Summer of 1919, where American white sailors went into major majority Black cities and burned them down to the ground. We're not talking about 1, 2, 3, 4 family. We're talking about over 15 cities and towns that were predominantly Black and wealthy got burnt down. What's wealthy, Ross? What are we talking about? There was their own economic system. They had hospitals and clinics, grocery stores, mechanics, auto shops. They had all sorts of things, family. But they don't teach people those things. Am I saying that's going to make people who come over here less racist? No. But by not showing them and by not teaching them and not by telling them, you perpetuate the stereotypes that we ain't shit and we know better than that. Nobody never asks themselves, well, how are Black people so resilient then? See, they don't show you the Black businessmen that we have that own their own small business. And some of these businesses are kind of a second tier business. They're doing very, very well for themselves. They're not going to show you that positivity, but they will show you that, well, yeah, there's some Black rich people. They all dance and sing and act. They're all in the entertainment field. They don't show you our brilliance, our intelligence. No, they want to show you our talent and skills that are naturally given to us. No. They don't want to do that, family. That might incite people to look at us very, very differently. I'm not saying we're better than anyone else, but I'm saying we're just as good. But that's not what people think. They come to this country, and those who are even here look down on us because they think that we are less than them. And unfortunately, some of them can't even help it. It's because they have been influenced. They have been brainwashed by the system in so many formats. I mean, in school, on the job, on TV, through news programs, shows, movies, etc. It hits them 1,000 times a day. And that's why the system of white supremacy has been so strong and stagnant, because they know how to influence the people without the people even knowing it. There's political and white agendas in all types of shows and movies. The people don't even know it. George Orwell's book, I forget the year, but I think it was 1987. He talked about how the government will essentially have total control of the people. And here we are. Here we are. We think that we live in a democracy because certain presidents get up and like, we live in a democracy. We live in a democracy. No, we do not. The Constitution clearly states that we live in a republic. And guess what, family? Anytime in a republic, once you cast your vote, you have no power. People are like, oh, you don't got no voice. You don't got no voice if you don't vote. Yes, I do. What people don't understand is that the power, thank you very much, Brent C., 1984, not 1987. What people don't understand is that absolute power is with you until you vote. Then absolute power goes to the people and the person you voted for. What am I talking about? You live in a republic, not a democracy. A true democracy, family, you will be voting for everyone and every bill and act and legislation within the country. Yep, they will have the people's vote. But no. You live in a republic where there's people who represent you. They represent you. How did they get up there? You voted them in because they convinced you that they were the best candidate for you. But here's the thing. We accept a lot of this. We don't see it in black and white. We don't see it. And that's how the government continues to fool the people. Don't matter which way you swing, right or left. Because you think we live in a democracy where, oh, my vote is my power. My vote is my voice. But family, once you vote, you no longer have a voice. You no longer have power. Because think about it. Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, right? Once you vote, they don't ask you, the people, who should be part of their cabinet. Remember, they just was hiring people all within their cabinet, the press secretary, that secretary, this part of the communication. They didn't ask the people. Then some of you, I know, some of you will say, well, hey man, if we voted on everything, that would just take too much time. No, it would be like anything else. You'll get it in a secure email. You'll, of course, verify yourself through maybe your passport. You'll have to go in initially to set up your voting account, but it will be protected by 256-bit encryption, just like military-grade things. And then you vote. You'll get an email saying, hey, the U.S. is now trying to voting this. Are you for it or you're not? So you have the opportunity to read it or not. I know people can kind of send a lot of things after that, but here's the thing. You, the people, will have the power to vote on everything in America versus within a republic is a representative. And guess what that representative, what happens to that representative? They get paid under the table. They get persuaded. They get influence. You ever heard of lobbyists? Lobbyists for a very long time in Washington have been the ones, the middlemen, who essentially, whatever business wants a bill to be passed, pays the lobbyist. The lobbyist pays that particular political figure in order to get their vote to pass something in. That's the problem with a representative, family. It really is, because if you voted on a bill, like take for instance your family, it's for you guys. Two of you may agree, two of you may not agree, but that could actually sway the vote. Don't you ever get tired that you believe your political pundits? You just kind of like, oh yeah, they paint someone worse than they truly are, and you're just kind of like persuaded. I guess the Republicans are bad. Oh, I guess the Democrats keep fooling black people. But here's the thing. We keep voting them in. Black Americans has been talking about reparations for a very long time. Up until, a couple of years ago, people didn't even know the last years of Martin Luther King. He was talking about reparations. He was talking about going up to Washington and getting a check cut. They leave that out. They just think he had a dream. Dr. MLK, he said that he was wrong in his assessment. That he saw immigrants coming over here getting land grants and money grants from the government. That means money you don't have to pay back. While Black Americans were here and built the country. That's why he said we're marching up to Washington to get our check. And before he had a chance to do that, he got assassinated. That's the government that we live in, family. But here's the thing, it worked. We kept on voting Democrat. Oh, Ross, should we be voting for Republican? No. I'm stating vote on policy, not on people. Vote on policy, not on people. And here's the thing, if there is no policy you like, then don't waste your damn time. Well, my ancestors died for us to vote. No, Negro, they died for you the right to vote. It's a choice about power. So when we talk about the George Floyd Policing Act, of what they could have done by putting a bullet point, qualified immunity has been dissolved for all law enforcement. Then no knock warrants and no chokeholds and etc. But they didn't do that because they know how to pander to the people. They know how to pacify black people. They have had hundreds of years of doing it. They have hundreds of years of pacifying black people. and massaging our shoulders and telling everything's going to be all right. Just like Barack Obama, keep hope alive. Change we can believe in. Well, family, I hate to tell you, not saying Barack Obama was a bad person because I don't know him personally, but I can tell you this, he didn't do anything for Black America. Well, you can't just do things for Black people. He's America president. Oh, so the Asian Anti-Hate Act had Asian in the bill name. So he did it for the Asians. The Jewish Holocaust survivors, he gave $12 million in earmark money to. And that was simply for them to live a better life in America. I'm not hating. I'm just saying, see what we continue to vote these people in, and they continue to ignore what we really want. I see we got Jay the Informant in the room. He said it coming in room. He said the bill name is a distraction. Absolutely. We got Red Wine Entertainment. Nice to see you, sister. Corey Hall says a republic of Caucasian made laws. Absolutely. Misrepresentation. What's going on, Corey Hall? I see him. But that's the problem, family. Is one of the biggest things that I've seen that unfortunately a lot of our people are not motivated to read about the laws in the country. I mean, even for me, for a very long time, read the Constitution for what? Well, that's the way that the laws of the land. Oh, okay. I just always, hey, don't do nothing wrong. You'll be okay. I mean, it still works today, but my point is, we don't even know how this country is operated. So it's kind of like, listen to this. It's kind of like you have TD Jakes and Joel Osteen. TD Jakes is kind of like your fire and brimstone preacher, where Joel Osteen is the good old pastor talking about prosperity, right? So it just depends on which one you like the most, right? And unfortunately, Black people most like the fire and brimstone. And mostly white people like the good old prosperity. I want to be rich. Well, Black people are, if you don't do that, you don't go to your 10 commandments, you're going to hell, the eternal fire, lake of fire. We want to go to that because it's more like theatrics, right? Come on, guys. You know I'm being, hey, let's stop playing. You already know that when these Black preachers get up there and they're shucky ducking and quacking and walking and talking, and it's more like a show, right? The hands of God that came down, like they do all these theatrics to maybe move the people or bring the people in, or it's entertainment. So it keeps you attracted. Where you got a guy on the other side like, yes, just bring the Lord in so the prosperity in your life can be risen from above, and you too can go out and walk in heaven and do those great things that you always wanted to do. Yes, Becky. Yes, you can grow long Shaquita hair. Indeed, Daniel, your bank account will go twofold by your blessings of the Lord. It's like, it kind of depends on what you want, family. That's how politics really is. Who sounds better? And guess what? We go with who sounds better all the time. Right? Here's what I'm talking about, right? You guys ever heard of E.T. Thomas? He's like the number one motivational speaker in the world. And then you I don't know, Rick Ross. And then you're trying to pick your motivational speaker. And if you guys know who E.T. Thomas is, then you know what I'm talking about. He's very phenomenal, right? The question is, most people are going to go with E.T. Thomas over Rick Ross trying to be a motivational speaker. That's the point I'm getting at. Before I get out of here, family, there's something disturbing that I saw earlier this morning. I wanted to share with you. Now, I believe that this lady here, she may be down on her luck. She may even be homeless, and that's what kind of Tariq was saying here. But the person that did this violent act upon her just kind of looks to be from the African continent. Like I'll let you decide for yourself. I shouldn't have told you that. Kind of let you guys decide. But he looked kind of Ethiopian. I agree with that notion, or maybe even Egyptian. But I'm gonna let you guys see it for yourself. Okay, this is very cringeworthy. So please hang on.
Ass off your phone unless you taping this for the news. On my mama, nigga. Where? I got 6 kids, nigga, and they ain't gonna fucking take my kids. I'm got a problem with the justice system. Bitch, if you taping it, put it on YouTube, let me get a whole bunch of likes, and I swear to God, you gonna be rich too. Like,
oh, shit. Damn. Fuck.
So, okay.
Oh, fuck.
I don't really need to see. Okay, I want you guys to see this guy right here. So first, you got his friend here laughing after they assaulted this elderly woman. She looks maybe she's in her mid to late 50s. And you got this guy who's taping everything, who's laughing. But here's the problem I have, family. I'm going to rewind this, unfortunately. First of all, this guy is CVS security. I hope they come and lock his ass up. And then when he's in jail, I hope somebody knock the shit out of him. The problem I have with this family, okay? The problem I have with this is because as the guy is filming, he's planning his attack. No one stopped him. Not the guy filming, not the guy to the right. No one stopped him. He's pointing at the female like, I'm a getter. I'm a getter. And he's the security. Let me let you see it again so you can just focus on him in the background.
On my mama, nigga. Where? I got 6 kids, nigga, and they ain't gonna fucking take my kids. I'm got a problem with the justice system. Bitch, if you taping it, put it on YouTube, let me get a whole bunch of likes, and I swear to God, you gonna be rich too. Like,
oh, shit. Damn.
So,
fuck.
Here's my problem. I mean, we know it's cowardice. We know that's a sucker punch. He did that to an elderly black woman. And when you look at him, again, he doesn't look like he's a black American.
Fuck. Damn.
I wish this was a clearer picture. But even the guy who's to the right is, yeah, he kind of looks African to a certain degree. But he's almost about to hit her again.
And you gonna get fucked up. Remember that.
She didn't hit anybody. She didn't hurt anybody. She didn't hit anybody. She didn't hurt anybody. Maybe she's off her rocker a little bit and she's talking nonsense. So what? It's a middle-aged black lady who's not doing anything to anybody. I mean, from what I heard, she said she got 6 kids and she don't like the Justice Department. She seemed coherent to me, but nonetheless, to do a senseless attack, a sneak attack on a woman, and he put all of his body in the punch, family. Then his friends on the side didn't say or do anything. He's right behind her. Look, family. Look, he's right behind her. Look, I'm gonna get her. Watch this. Keep watching. Setting, and his friend like, no, man, don't do that. No one stopped him. Look at this. Look at this. All of his punch. Look at this. He put his whole body in it. And instead of his friends saying, man, that's messed up. Man, hey, man, you shouldn't have did that. Oh, man. Oh, you got her. Oh, man, that was. Then he almost tried to hit her again, but she was watching. So if you notice, oh, I'm not even showing you guys. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You probably said something.
Ass off your phone.
Yeah, well,
Unless you taping this
look
for
at
the
this
news.
family. Look how he's setting
On
her
my
up.
mama, nigga. I got 6
He's
kids.
right behind
nigga,
her.
And they ain't gonna fucking take my kids.
Look out, I'm gonna get her. I'm gonna get her.
With the justice system. Bitch, if you taping it, put it on YouTube. Let me get a whole.
See, she was talking about how she had 6 kids, and I guess the justice system came in, but she, like I said, it seems though she was being coherent, but the whole time the guy's like pointing, like, "Hey, I'm gonna get her, I'm gonna get her," and no one from his entourage or his gang, I'm just kidding, told him, "No, don't do that."
Bunch of likes, and I swear to God, you're gonna be rich too. Like,
Bullshit.
Family, he sneak attacked her, and he put his whole body into it. A little weak. The suspect was not strong enough to bring her down. I was about to say something totally off strip that I stopped myself. Okay, but it angers me, family. We have this. We fighting against everybody. We fighting against immigrants, not all immigrants, but a good number of you in America. Don't matter what ethnic, what race you are. We fighting against the government system. We fighting against white supremacy. And we got to keep our head on a swivel. And they wonder why so many Black people have all these mental issues, because for their entire lives, they have been behind enemy lines. That's why. You guys have a good one.